There is that one famous video clip which we were talking about earlier that's had over nearly 1.5 million views, is it?
It's had 109 million views, the last one that was put on Facebook last year. But there's lots of different versions of it on YouTube, and I don't know them.
I would think that all the versions put together are probably 250 million.
It could be. It could very well be, yeah. I think 249 million of those are my mum.
I remember what impressed me when we first spoke about that, probably about 5-6 years ago, was that you said that when you fell to the floor and grabbed your leg, you then afterwards looked up and still thought you could win the race. To anyone listening would think, how is that possible? What's working in your head there?
Well, and I always say this, I think, to win any title, to win a competition, you've got to be physically in shape and also mentally in shape. And although my hamstring went obviously down the back straight, mentally I was still in shape. And it was the first 4 to qualify to go through to the final. I knew if I was in shape, I would have won the semi-final. I was in perfect shape to do that. So in my head, if I could have got up and still carried on running, I could finish in the top 4, even if it was 4, and make the final. And I'll worry about, after I've made the final, worrying about the injury and how severe it is. But, you got to be in it to win it, as they say. So I honestly felt that if I got up and started running, I'd make the final. That was clear as day to me.
I think you're absolutely right, and that is the mark of a champion.
I think it's the mark of someone who's physically and mentally in shape, or in my case, mentally in shape, because I certainly wasn't physically in shape. And that, yes, can be the mark of a champion. So I think it's in stages. You've got to be focused, mentally in shape, and know what you're going to do. We were talking earlier on about people who kind of talk themselves out of winning or competing well. One of the things I used to do a lot of was visualization, and I'd visualize myself winning that race in lane 1, in lane 2, in lane 7, in lane 8, in wind, in rain, in snow. And I would do that over and over and over and over again in my mind, years leading out to something like the Olympic Games. So by the time it comes to that race, whatever unfolded, you'd already run that race in your head somewhere. You've got it in your memory bank. You don't need to panic because you know what the outcome is, because every one of those races, I won. So you kind of run it in your mind. So.
And when you run that movie in your head, is it like in full HD with surround sound and all the emotions? Do you actually add that to it, or is it more visual than anything else?
It's visual, and you run it kind of at normal speed in your head, and I'd know the feeling, the sound, the smell of the track, my breathing, the footsteps, my footsteps, the athlete's footsteps. You'd hear all that and feel all that. So yes, I guess it is in full HD.
And I guess your heart rate, when you're actually sat there running it through in your head, your heart rate will pick up as well, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And I used to visualize, chilling out, lying down, driving, in my mind, whenever I had time to myself, I would visualize myself winning these races, whether it be breaking the world record, winning an Olympic title, whatever it was, over and over and over and over. And it's just something, most people daydreamed. I used to visualize about winning races.